This is Rav Keith from beautiful Yeshivat Ashreinu, and in this week's Parsha we learn about the importance of being careful not to steal and to tell the truth. So the Torah tells us that the world is corrupted, Hamas, and Rashi explains that Hamas was little stealings, a little stealing here, a little stealing there. Midrash talks about how people used to take a little grape from the shuk and eventually it corrupted the whole society. Stealing's really, really hard, but the Torah does have a high standard. It wants us to be a straight, yashar people. So here's some practical example of some things that we can improve upon. The Torah tells us that you're not even allowed to steal a little bit. So, what do I mean? So, for example, I can't go over and take my buddy's stereo, take my buddy's football without asking him. That's considered stealing. Even to keep him up a little extra at night is considered stealing sleep. I can't wiggle my taxes a little bit. I can't take a little extra, not pay for the train or not pay for the movie or not pay for the restaurant. All these things that are kind of, we make excuses in society we can't do. Now what can you do though? So the halacha technically says that if something is very little money, and most people would be cool with you doing it, so then that's an exception. So for example, there's a pen that's lying around. Since most people would let you borrow your pen, you can borrow that pen because most people would be cool with borrowing the pen. Another example is there's a match. So there's one little match from a matchbox. You can safely assume that that person wouldn't mind you borrowing that match or a toothpick. Those are the examples that Gemara uses. However, even that example is limited because if you need to ask that person if possible. You need to call them up and say, "Hey, can I borrow your pen? Can I borrow your match?" And you need to be sure that that person would be cool with it. So he's a very picky type of person. He won't let you borrow your football, even if he's totally being irrational. It's his stuff. If you know that there's any chance that he wouldn't let you borrow it, you can't borrow it without permission. What we're seeing here is that the standards that the Torah has are very high. And Torah doesn't want us to lie to each other. Torah tells us not to be deception. For example, a lot of people don't know this, but the Torah says, Midbar sheker tirchak, which means go far from lying. Even to retell a story in an exaggerated form where you're purposely altering the details to make the story sound cooler. Or you're talking about your future plans and you're going to change the details. Even if no one's getting hurt by this story, you're training yourself to speak with deception, and the Torah says this is not the way of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You want to cling to him by being straight. And that's especially hard in the business world where we're kind of trained to be deceptive, but the Torah's way, the first question we get asked when we go to heaven is, were you straight? So the Torah's way is for us to be straight, to present things as they are, and not to use deception. So I know there's a very high standard to strive for, but this is the week to focus on being straight Jews, on being honest, and not stealing, and in that zichut, we will rebuild the world through truth and love. Have yourself an amazing day, amazing Shabbos Kodesh. Thank you very much, Alex.